The 417 Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast, the one with fillers. In this episode, Andrea and I, as usual, discuss our favorite 4 things that we have either enjoyed or are looking forward to in the 417 area. Our one topic of the week is conventions. Jess from Geek Ethos came on. We recorded this at OzCon, so there's a little ambient background noise of people playing the games, which is great. We come at it at different ideas of conventions. Andrea was president of Branson Con. I run Moon City Con. Jess has her table for Geek Ethos, and we all like to attend cons, so that was interesting. And then our 7 is our 7 favorite filler games. Either in this episode or the expansion, Jess and Sarah might have a nice little announcement that they're adding to the pile of things they do, which is quite a bit. But without further ado, let's get on with the 417 Gamer Podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast. My name is Rick.
And I'm Andrea.
And in the 417 Gamer Podcast, we start with the 4. The 4 things that we are enjoying
We're looking forward to.
in the 417 area. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
I want to go first.
All right. What did you enjoy or are you looking forward to?
Well, I very, very much enjoyed OzCon this year.
Yeah. OzCon's been nice.
In West Plains, it's an annual convention. It's a small Comic-Con that caters to not just board games, but they also have media guests, anime. They actually had some video game tournaments, Pokemon card tournaments. They cover a little bit of everything, and they do it all very well.
And famed comic book author Cullen Bunn was out there.
Yes.
That was pretty cool to see. It's been nice seeing OzCon grow, because this was, I think, my 3rd and maybe your 4th or 5th.
6th or 7th.
Yeah. And I went to one pre-COVID. We went to last year's, and we went to this year's, and it's CJ that runs it, right? Mm-hmm. He has done a fantastic job of growing that sucker.
Yes.
And it's cool from the outside looking in, just seeing how everything's have grown. And their Saturday was really busy.
Yeah, we went to the game room expecting to find a table, and they were full. All the tables were full, so we had to go back out to the main hall to find a table to play games.
We had to sit with the video gamers.
I know, but they were nice.
They were nice.
I especially liked our trip to OzCon this year.
Yeah. So I asked Andrea, because usually when we go up to conventions, on our travels, I usually like to do some sightseeing, pull off and see a park or a thing or something like that. And I gave her the choice because Grand Gulf State Park is it's about 30 minutes south and east of West Plains, or Alice Springs is north and east, about an hour away from OzCon. She picked Alice Springs, and it was gorgeous.
So beautiful if you get a chance to go. I mean, this spring is perfectly blue and clear water, and it's ice cold, and it's just huge. I mean, thousands of gallons of water are coming out of this spring in the ground and going down and filling up an entire river.
Yeah.
And it's stunning, and the flowers are blooming. And we stopped and had some special time for just us.
We did. So, I wanted to find a nice place. I found a shiny, a ring with a shiny rock on it. And I said, "Hey, Andrea, we've been going through, we've had many adventures. Would you mind taking a few more with me as my wife? Would you marry me?"
And I said yes.
Aw, I appreciate that.
It's a beautiful ring. It is a hexagon shaped, just like many of our board games.
Yeah. I found one that had. I was looking at different Halo patterns, and I saw one that was a hexagon that kind of reminded me of a board game spot. So.
And it's gorgeous.
Aw.
And I love you.
I love you too. So, not to just push that off to the side, but other things that we've enjoyed. We tried to do a game day. We had scheduled one place. We got there, and they had changed winter hours, but they hadn't changed their window decals. When we got there with the group, we had to change because they weren't going to open for another 2 hours. And we went to 4x4 Brewery. And while the previous place had some beers we liked, and they had nice tables, 4x4 had a bigger selection of different things. Mm-hmm. They had beer, of course, but then they also had some hard seltzers, and they had alcohol slushies, which, like, at least 3 or 4 people were like, yeah, can we come back to this place? And I feel bad because I did like the other place. But when the people are happy with a location change, I think you keep it.
We had a group of about 20 people. They had plenty of seating, nice long tables for even the big table hog games. It was nice.
And thank you if you're listening and you were amongst the 20 that moved with us. Because I know some people bailed, and I understand. It's frustrating when things have to change, especially last second. But, yeah, we went down the road. 4x4 Brewery is just off of Primrose and Lone Pine. I think that's still Primrose out that way, isn't it?
Mm-hmm,
or is it a different road name?
I'm not.
It's just off of Lone Pine across from Sequiota Park. You kind of go up the little road, go off to the right, and 4x4 is back there. Good table selection, good alcohol selection as far as there's some beers, like I said, ciders.
Good snacks.
They had good snacks too, yeah. We were happy. We'll do it again.
Yes. And we're sorry if there was any audio disruption just then. The kitty decided she wanted to play with the microphone.
Yeah.
She still is. She just bit it. Okay. Down in the floor you go.
Another thing, I'll go again, is Catherine is an amazing cook in our group, and she hosted Cinco de Werewolf. She hosted a werewolf on Cinco de Mayo. And we are recording right after. Werewolf is always a good time.
Always.
And we had all 3 of us organizers, Ben, myself, Catherine, and our significant others, along with some other friends, playing Werewolf around a fire, which is great. Play about 6 or 7 games. We got to accuse each other of lying and being werewolves, and blobs, and chupacabras.
Yes, we played several different variations.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining and nice. Sometimes we had the hunter, sometimes we had the disease, sometimes we'd have a minion or a seer. We changed it up each time.
Catherine likes to change it up because she likes to keep people guessing a little bit. She didn't want her games to be stale. Catherine is a very good moderator at Werewolf, and she's a great hostess whenever she has people over. She made tacos with roasted chicken and did carnitas. Mm-hmm. She had some roasted peppers, various cheeses, guacamole.
Caramelized onions.
Yeah, and then her cupcakes, she had strawberry with cream cheese icing, and she had margarita cupcakes. And Catherine knows how to treat her guests, and it was so good.
You got to feed the werewolf so they'll come after you.
Or so they don't. What is one more thing for the 4?
Oh, how could I forget Geekway?
Which isn't technically in the 417, but we're going up there representing the 417 gamers.
To hand out flyers for Moon City Con.
We will do that. But traditionally, 417 Gamers has rolled pretty deep at Geekway. Shut down, as it did with a lot of things, kind of put a damper on that. We used to roll like 20, 30 deep of 417 Gamers going to Geekway. And I think we're starting to build our numbers back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's up in St. Louis. Actually, St. Charles, a suburb of St. Louis.
St. Charles Convention Center. It's attached to the Hilton. It is 4 days. And I think they have between 2,000 and 3,000 people playing games. We try and be a mini version of that down here in Springfield. They really do things well.
If you've never been, they have tournaments, play-to-win games. And when I say they have play-to-win games, they have an entire room full of play-to-win games. In addition to their library of 1,000 games, it is... If you like board games, it's not as big as BGG Con, but...
Or Gen Con.
For here in Missouri, it is very well done.
It's very well ran, and for one of your first cons, It might be just a little daunting because of how big it is, but there's a lot to do there. And even if you can go on their tabletop events after you get your badge and get tickets to different events. And even if you don't want to do that, there's still tons of stuff off to the sides with their vendors that come in that run some tournaments.
Yes.
Last year, we learned a Kid in a Shuffle from a vendor. We played through the Outback Tournament with, I forget what vendor did that game. Regardless, they good time at it and played a lot of games. And it's what game did we? Oh, it's Savannah Park is the one we played. And we both were like, yeah, this is something we got to own. And we have played Savannah Park almost to death.
Yes.
But so that's the 4 things.
In 2 weeks.
That's 4 things that we've enjoyed in the 417 or looking forward to. Let's go on to the topic of the week, which I think is convention season.
Yes.
And Jess from Geek Ethos will join us. Hey guys, Moon City Con 2023 is almost here. It happens June 9th, 10th, and the 11th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Springfield, Missouri. To get your badges, go to mooncitycon.com. We have announced tournaments. We've announced prizes. We've announced so many things. And now we have a trade table. Bring a couple of your games that you don't really necessarily play too much. Put them to the trade table. And the way it works, one person will be selected at random to pick from the trade table. Whoever is the owner of the game that gets picked, they are the next person that goes to the trade table. And that will go all day Saturday at Moon City Con 2023. Get your badges now. The 1 in 417 Gamers is our topic of the week. We are talking about conventions and convention season. I go to more conventions, and I kind of halfway run a convention. Andrea goes to conventions, and she was president of Branson Con and on the media team with Vision Con back in the day. And Jess, you and your wife run booths at conventions and also like to attend.
We do.
And you guys also like to dress up in your cosplay.
We do.
So we're coming from different realms-ish. Just off the top, what are some of your favorite conventions that you guys like going to?
We recently went to Planet Con in Kansas City. Love that one. The guests are amazing. It's really, this year, I think they broke an attendance record, though. There was so many people there. It was ridiculous. We love Vision Con in Springfield, and then OzCon, of course, has a special place in our heart as well. I didn't get to go to the Missouri Con, but I heard it was amazing as well.
We were very impressed with how it was run and on the attendance. Because Springfield can be very fiddly on when it comes out and supports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrea, some of your favorites?
Well, we, Planet Con, we've been almost every year except for during the shutdown, of course. Moon City Con is my new favorite con. And then, Vision Con and Dragon Con in Atlanta. If any of the listeners have never been to Dragon Con, it's a huge 80 to 100,000 people con. It's even bigger than Planet. It takes up 4 or 5 hotels, and there's events running nonstop in each convention area.
That's so cool.
It's if you've never been, it's probably a once in a lifetime con. It's in Atlanta's. We're in the 417 Atlanta's. You can make it in a one-day drive.
Yeah.
If you can make it, I recommend it.
Can you make it in a one-day drive?
Heck yeah, you can. The way I travel, you can.
Right?
I don't drive like that.
Andrea and I will go. You can stay at home.
That's fine.
You can stay at home with Sarah because
as long as I don't have
also,
to drive.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't mind to drive.
Yeah, I'll put
You guys can sleep in the back.
Yeah, that would
There
be great.
you go.
Just headphones, neck pillow, just drool on the window. I'm more of a gamer. I absolutely will go to any of the nerd conventions you want to go to. SpaCon, Planet Comic Con was fun. It's cool seeing the stuff. I don't have the eye for the celebrities. They're people. I've bumped into quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, I've bumped into Brad Pitt in Springfield. I've bumped into Bruce Willis whenever they were premiering the space movie back in the 90s.
Armageddon?
Yes. Knew who he was and going, hey. And I think I was
Doesn't do it
13,
for you?
14.
Yeah.
No. Celebrities just don't. And I think what they do is cool.
Yeah.
But it's a thing, and I don't know what my thing is with it. But
I also have an honorable mention, SpaCon down in Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's a little bit of a drive to go down there. Every year they grow by at least 1,000 people, and it's been fun to watch. We went to their very first year. It was a small con, and then they caught up with Vision Con, and then they got a little bit bigger.
They did.
So that's been fun to watch. A brand new con starting out on its first time, just to watch it grow like that.
That
It's
is
been
cool.
fun.
So for me, my favorite one is Geekway of the West currently.
Oh, I would love to go to that one.
Geekway is so much fun. It's 2,000 to 3,000 people. It is at the St. Charles Convention Center at this point. It used to be at the Westport Chalet in St. Louis. It's a very fun. It's a gameplay board game convention. It's focused so much on games. They have a huge library of like 3,000 or 4,000 games. Then they have a really big play and win library. I think last year they had like 60 some odd titles. Which is what we're trying to do with our play and wins. The door prizes are cool, but so many people love the play and win selection, so we're trying to beef that up this year. Have some really nice door prizes and grand prizes. It's great, but we've really tried to vary our play because I know what I like, Catherine knows what she likes, and Ben knows what he likes. So that's why we've been trying to watch more of the top 10s from the different YouTubers to find out, what's hot for different people. I really want to hit BGG Con, probably not this year, but next year. And I think I need to go to Gen Con once.
I would love to go to that at least once.
The new shiny, I can wait for it to come when it's actually in stock, and our friendly local game stores aren't getting short shipped. We're promised 10 copies and they get 2.
Yep.
I'm happy that sometimes they hold back one for me, especially if it's the one I really, really want. But if another one comes in, I tell them just go ahead and sell it to the regular customers. They've been great to me, but yeah. We all go there, go to conventions with different mindsets as far as you guys set up booths sometimes. What are some of your favorite conventions to set up your booths at?
We've had a wide variety of places that we've set up at. We've done OzCon, and then we've even done like the Fairgrove Heritage Craft Fair.
Yeah.
So, and then we've done the Metagames flea market that they do. I mean, we've had a pretty good variety, and it's really interesting to see the different responses that you get. Because like at the Fairgrove one, we are definitely our own cat, because you'll walk through and you see everything's covered in like tulle or pumpkins, and then we've got dice towers from like Castle Grayskull and a Batman cowl and swords.
Right,
Like it just
yeah.
does not fit in. So you just seeing their reaction of like, oh, my people, you're here.
Right.
And then going here and then them finding that specific niche thing that they want. And then over at Metagames, just talking to different people where they've got their head down thinking about games, and then you make them look up for just a second because it's something different. So that's been fun too.
I mean, that's one of the things I love about board games is the social interaction with people. That's one of the things about 10 years ago, playing online video games, I wasn't getting to see my friends. We got together for a game of Risk. The game is not good, but we had a great time together. And then one of my friends said, hey, there's better games out there. So I went through that rabbit hole, and now,
Now look at you.
300 games in 5 conventions this is going to be the 5th. Anyway, that's the rabbit hole I went down. Andrea, you have ran some conventions.
Yeah, VisionCon was actually my very first convention ever, and the reason I went was one of my favorite authors was going to be there, and my brother had been volunteering for years, and some of our friends were helping run it, and I went, and this was back when VisionCon was at the Clarion, which is a hotel that doesn't even exist anymore, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing that humans have ever done. And then I joined the staff and helped with marketing, and then I worked for VisionCon for almost 8-9 years. And then BransonCon came around. Got an offer to worked for them for a couple of years, and that was fun to start a convention from the ground up. So I've done it from the admin side as well, and I got to tell you, it looks different from the back end.
I'm sure it's less
Things usually
glamorous.
do.
Because you don't realize when you go to a con, it's a 3-day con, but it takes all year.
It does.
All year to make that happen. I mean, as a matter of fact, you're already looking at stuff for the next year, before the first year's even
You
done.
have to, or everything books up.
The dates, the venue, location, booking your dates, or because if you wait, your venue's
It's all
going to be
gone.
taken.
Yep, it's all gone.
So yeah, you don't realize as a participant how much work and how many people it takes to make a con happen.
Yeah, and I'll echo that from the vendor side of it too.
Yeah.
We work all year on just getting our supply up sometimes, and so it's a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that comes into that from all ends of it for sure.
Absolutely. So for 10, 12 years, I worked on the admin side. Now when I go to a con as just an attendee, and it's like, I'm just going to go and enjoy this one. And that's fun too.
And as an admin side of it, going through that roller coaster, like, do we want to do another year? This was good, and it turned out good. I don't know, should we? And then you think about it, like, all right, let's do another one. And then you're in the middle of the next year, like, why did we agree to do this?
I need to punch past Rick in the face.
Yeah. We talk about past us and future us all the time.
Yes, I do too.
Yep. Like, are we going to do that? No, that's future us's
Yeah,
problem.
that's right.
Then when we get to it, those
Past Rick,
bastards.
why?
But we're here at OzCon this weekend, which is one of our favorite cons.
Yes.
So we're in West Plains.
Speaking
at
of
the
watching
Civic
one
Center.
grow, this is my third or fourth time to OzCon, and it has grown very, very nicely.
Yes.
A couple years ago, came out here. There was a few celebrities, few booths. The gaming was very sparse. There was hardly anybody out there. Was here last year with Andrea, and the board game RPG section was very quiet, but out there the miniatures, they were out there demoing. I think Star Wars Legion had just come out, and they were doing some other stuff. And a lot of them came from the Springfield area, and Carl was helping run their tournaments and told them, just pay attention to your clock. If people want to come up and talk to you, pause it, and we're not gonna worry about hardcore timing rules. We want to be ambassadors to the hobby, and I think that really, really helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of time that the tabletop hobby, it sometimes feels like there's gatekeeping, or that they're not the most social people to talk to, and sometimes that's true.
Sure, that's true of everybody though.
And sometimes that's also, we're just super focused playing the thing that we're doing. Go away.
Yeah, don't bother me. I'm thinking.
Yes. I mean, the photos you take when people are playing games, heads down, serious, looking at a board, are not necessarily the happiest photos you take at conventions.
My mom's always like, "Are you having fun?" I'm like, yes, it's a great time. Your face says otherwise.
2 hours in an economic Euro, and you're like, that game was awesome. Really? You look miserable for 2 hours of it. I'm like, I know, that's why it was great.
That's my face. That's just what I do.
Let's go just touch on the negative side. Some of your pet peeves from conventions.
Some of my pet peeves, I definitely struggle with we are all trying to get through. Please stop stopping in the middle of the thing in a circle and having a conversation in the middle of the aisle.
Blocking the only way to get through.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of it too.
We all are,
Yeah.
but I try to at least, if somebody squeezes past me, I'm like, oh, I'm that person. This isn't Silver Dollar City out here. We need to all scooch to the aisles. That's probably my biggest one.
Well, I remember, I think it was last year, it might have been at Geekway, where it was like, yeah, these people with their backpacks, they just stand there. And like the very next day, I'm standing there talking with it, and we're looking at somebody playing a tournament, the Outback. And people are looking at me with the backpack jutting. I'm like, oh no, I'm that guy.
I literally became you.
Yeah.
So I try and scooch him over to the side.
Yeah. You grabs my shirt. Hey, come this way.
Look
Yeah.
over here.
Andrea, some of your pet peeves?
I I don't have very many, honestly, other than the block in the aisle and the walking slow at the bigger cons. It's almost like being on a highway.
It's terrible.
If you're going to be slow, get over to the right, and let the people who have 2 minutes to get to the panel and you're hauling butt as fast as you can. Just be aware of the people around you.
Yes.
Look up from your phone and try and look at your surroundings. And if you're in someone's way, just kind of move over.
Yeah, we've definitely here at OzCon, it's not that big a deal. People seem to be a little more aware of it, but PlanetCon, I just felt like a fish slowly swimming upstream.
Yes.
Because I had the same problem. I was trying to get from one end of the gigantic exhibition hall to the other, and I'm like, I'll never get here.
Right. Yeah. Because it was packed.
Yeah.
You have to turn sideways and squeeze through sometimes.
Yes. And then you have people with wings who forget that they have wings and they're just hitting everything.
Yeah.
I got two big ones from the organizer side. Signage, and it's something that our little convention needs to work on doing better. We usually have a sign of where registration is, where library is. As we get bigger, I would really like to start putting a coordinate grid down on the table so when people are trying to coordinate games and stuff, it's easier for them to link up. There's been so many conventions where you're looking for the panel room or the games or whatever, and it's if you don't have your program and the map right in front of you, or even if you do sometimes, it's hard to find where you want to go. On the facility side, bathrooms.
Yes, bathrooms.
When it's not just cleanliness, but it's also we were at the Oasis, and of the 3 stalls, 1 worked, and of the sink, 1 worked, and all the dispensers were out, and trying to find somebody was near impossible.
That's not good.
And it was one of those issues like, hey, do we just have 1 stall? I'm like, guys or girls? And because one's a little bit worse than the other because guys have a couple more options. But either one, I still had to go track down the maintenance guy. I'm like, hey, what can we do? And he goes, well, I'll get somebody on it. And I know it's a Saturday, but if you guys are going to run a convention space.
Yeah. And you're going to charge them for that.
Yeah. And you're going to charge a premium for that. And then charge us a gratuity fee on top of that.
Oh, come on.
What am I going to be?
Yeah.
What gratitude do I have right now?
I feel not very gracious.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, if somebody hasn't been to a convention, what would you recommend one of their first one to go to?
I mean, I think it obviously depends on where you're from, but for Springfield, I honestly, OzCon's a good one, but I think VisionCon was one that we went to and we've had people go to. Yeah. It's a really good middle size where there's plenty to do all day, but it's not overwhelming. I wouldn't start. Our very first one was Wizarding World in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And
that's a little overwhelming.
It was very overwhelming. So it works for me because I'm like, wee, stuff and shiny. My wife turns into a turtle and she slinks back into her shell, which there's that many people. So knowing that now, I would start something kind of middle of the road. And it's an easier cost to stomach as well for admission because that can be a little overwhelming when you're on a budget. My other thing is, like, you don't have to dress up, but if you feel like it, do it. And you can wear whatever you want. The great part about cons for me is just the level of love and acceptance people seem to have here, where I'm like, you want to dress like somebody who would think you were looking weird? Nobody here cares, or they probably know exactly what character you are.
Exactly.
Just so much love and acceptance. And so don't be scared. It's not scary, and people aren't going to bother you. Just come and walk around. It's great people watching.
Yeah. Something from the admin side of running a convention, we have to have security because you never know what's going to happen. But we never use the security other than someone has a lost bag or a lost cell phone or something like that. And even up at Planet Comic-Con, we were sitting by one of the security people. She had 3 lost phones turned in, and she found 3 owners for those phones, and she was so happy. She's like, stuff like that never happened at a hockey game. You never see that phone again. Yeah. So that's another thing, especially if you have kids, and you're going to try and take them to an event. It's a nice, warm, safe place to be.
It really is. And people are so nice to take pictures with your kids. And that just makes today I was cosplaying as Xena, and people will ask, like, hey, can I take your picture? That just makes my day. So you get that hard work recognized, and so your kids get to be a part of that too, which is awesome.
Right.
Andrea, any conventions you recommend people try for the first time, or have we kind of covered it?
Like she was saying, if you're in the 417 VisionCon in Springfield, I like VisionCon because it hits all the genres.
It does.
It's got the multimedia, the TV, movies covered, anime, board gaming, video gaming. It's got a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah, they don't hit any one topic
right
overly hard. They hit a little bit of everything, which is great.
Which is really nice.
And if you get overwhelmed, I actually look for Geekmas. Geekmas in December is a great time. It's a smaller convention. It's more of like a small party with friends. There's a lot of vendors out. The cosplay is a little bit smaller, so it's less daunting. And also, if you're trying your first DIY costume, there's a lot of people out there either trying out their first try at a costume and adjust it for the bigger conventions, or it's their first time DIYing a costume as well. So I don't want to say you're going to feel bad if your costume doesn't measure up, but when you go to these bigger conventions,
you'll see amazing
You will.
things.
yeah.
And
Like
sometimes
a
you're like,
real-
well, I don't know what I'm doing, and
Right.
I have that problem too.
Yeah, like a real Iron Man
Yeah.
walking around
Yeah.
in metal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he walked off the movie set.
Yeah.
and you got the cloth that you.
And you've got the Walmart one, and that's fine. Like,
And
it
that
really
is
is
just
fine.
fine.
But when you're next to the real thing, it feels less fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But it
So-
really is fine.
Yeah, so at Geekmas, which is in December, they've got a really nice costume contest, great prizes. Here in OzCon, of course, it's a in between smaller convention where you won't feel overwhelmed.
And Geekmas is also a nice last time for you to get that little gift for your friend in the nerdoms.
We bought so many Christmas presents at
did.
Geekmas.
That's the best.
Yeah.
And most of them are like handmade or unique, and that's the best.
Well, not only that, but you're also spending a lot of times dollars worth of local people.
Yes.
That money is going to go to them. It's going to go to their kids.
Yeah.
Whether it's lunch money or buying some clothes or paying a bill.
100%.
Support your local peoples if you can.
Yep.
But no, that's our take on conventions. So that was the 1 in 417. Let's go into the 7, which is the top 7 in the topic, and we're talking filler games.
Yes.
You're listening to the 417 Gamer Podcast. Follow the 417 Gamers on Facebook at facebook.com/417 Gamers. And if you're in the 417 area, click on the Join tab, and that'll kick you over to our group page. We can connect you with other gamers in the 417. Additionally, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and we have a YouTube page. YouTube.com/417 Gaming Group. Let's get on with the top 7. All right, the 7 in the 417 Gamers, we talk about our favorite 7 in a given topic. This time we are talking about our favorite 7 filler games. I tossed out there that Andrea and I would look at filler games, a game that can be taught and set up in about 5 minutes or less, and then played in roughly 30 minutes or less, 45 if you really want to fudge it. But it's a game you either start the night when people are trying to get in there, or potentially in the night as people are leaving, and 1 or 2 people just want to get that last game in there. So you played more than just one long game.
Yeah. And it works really well, too, when we have game night at, Metagames, where, we're done with our game, but they're almost done with their game, and then we're going to play something else. So we just something to just fill in just to...
Yeah, my 90-minute game went 90 minutes, and they're going to go for about an hour.
Yeah.
Hour longer. But, Jess, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with number 7. Andrea, our number 7 is the Ticket to Ride Minis.
Yeah, the little ones that are just San Francisco or New York.
Or London.
London. I really like the London one, too, and it has nothing to do, or it maybe have something to do with the fact that I love Harry Potter. And I get to learn all
Yes, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
all the little towns and yeah, I really, really like it. It's quick, it's easy. It plays really good at even just 2. It plays up to 4.
Yes.
But we played 2-player quite a bit, just, while dinner's cooking or,
And they each have their own little wrinkle. San Francisco, you're going around and collecting all the souvenirs. The more souvenirs you have, that gives you bonus points at the end, along with collecting your routes and all that stuff.
Right.
London, you want to hit certain different points and connect a little region, you get bonus points. And then New York's a little more complicated. You want to hit different regions, and it ends up being set collection like the souvenirs from San Francisco, but cities or little locations instead.
Yeah.
But
just to make them a little bit different from each other.
Jess,
Still got that same mechanic of connecting your cities with trains.
It does. Jess, you're number 7?
My number 7, now I sound terrible, but my number 7 is actually Secret Hitler. We love that game, and actually our children love it as well, and they'll go to school and say, my favorite game is Secret Hitler, and people that are not in the gaming community definitely give us some looks at that point. But just a really fun social deduction game where you are yelling at each other for being Hitler or being a fascist and complaining that you are a liberal. Plays really quick. We like it for our bigger groups. Some of mine, it seems like our filler games tend to be for bigger groups because that's usually what we're trying to fill in. It's either 2 players or big groups seems to be our filler. So my number 7 was Secret Hitler.
Secret Hitler is really good. We played that just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did.
I forgot how well that plays.
It's really clean. For the social deduction games, it's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
There's a couple print and plays where you can retheme it. There was Secret Vader and Secret Voldemort.
I have not seen that. That is amazing, and I will check that out.
If I can find those files, I'll shoot them over to you.
Please do. That would be amazing.
Number 6. What's your number 6, Jess?
Our number 6 is Monopoly Deal. So Monopoly gets a lot of hate for around the gaming community, but Monopoly Deal is just one of those games that you can play it even while you're laying in bed. That's kind of our go-to right before bed play game. So just plays completely with cards, so no setup other than shuffling, just dealing them out. So that's definitely our go-to number 6.
Yeah.
Our number 6 is No Thanks.
Nice.
No Thanks is a very simple game. It plays with a very light family, and it's got that push your luck element with gamers to where sometimes they hedge the bets a little bit too much. But No Thanks is very simple. You start with a hand of chips that are negative points, and that's what you want, the lowest points. And then you flip over a card in the middle, and if you want to take it, great, that's points, and points are bad. But if you don't, you put one of the chips on it and say no thanks, and it keeps on going around until somebody takes the card with all the chips that are on top. Now, the other kicker in there is cards, if you can get them sequential, they combine and come down to the lowest card on that deck that's sequential. As long as they all, go in form. If you're missing one of them, then you have 2 different stacks. So sometimes you start making your stack hoping that you'll find the one that bridges them. So maybe you got like 7 through 10, and then you've got 13 through 20, and you need that, that 11, 12, and hope it comes up. But when you start, you take 3 cards out of the deck, and you don't know which one's coming. Andrea, our number 5?
Marvel Remix. We like it because, a lot of my family is very into the Marvel universe, of course, and Marvel Remix is it's completely a card game, no setup at all other than shuffling, like you were saying. It's like Fantasy Realms. But your characters are Marvel characters. Each Marvel character has a different special power. Like if you pair Bruce Banner with a radioactive card, you get the Hulk, and he gets to flip upside down. So for different combinations, you get more points. So we really enjoy it.
Yeah. Very easy to play. It's draw a card, discard a card. As soon as there's 10 cards in the tableau, the game is flat out over. So you can, if you just keep on drawing from the discard piles, make the game go longer, but if you want to just quick run through the deck, just keep on drawing from the face-down pile. Mm-hmm. It can go quick or long as you want, and that's Marvel Remix. Mm-hmm. Just number 5.
My number 5 is Love Letter. So Love Letter has a ton of different versions of it. We got started with the OG of it, and it's just a really fun game. Comes in a tiny little bag, so it's great for travel. It's just got some cards and some favors. Everybody gets a card, and then you're trying to get the highest number to deliver your letter to the princess. So super easy concept, and again, one of those games that plays up to, I believe it's 6.
Yeah.
But it's also really fun at 2 players too. So that's another one that we'll play. We play that one a lot waiting in car line. Like I sound like a boring mom right now, but that's what I am, and that's fine.
That's perfectly
so
fine.
That's what we really like Love Letter. We've got the Marvel version of that, and it's definitely a different game, even though it's called Love Letter. Like they don't play the same at all. So lots of different versions of it, but those are the 2 that
we have the Jabba's Palace version.
Yeah, we taught that and gave it away here last year at OzCon.
Nice. We're getting the princess a Princess and Princess one, something. I think it's something like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but that's the next one we're picking up.
Nice.
But yeah, Love Letters are number 5.
Your number 4?
My number 4 is Dungeon Mayhem. We are big D&D fans, and Dungeon Mayhem is one of those that anybody, gamer or non-gamer alike, we've had good success with that. And that one, the people that made it were very clever with their box design. I don't know if you guys have seen it or played it, but they've got the regular one is just kind of like in the foldy deck of cards style, and then there's an expansion that's got the box and it's got dividers for all the different characters. So the completionist in me is like, I have to have all of that. But super easy. It's everybody has a different character, so it's asymmetrical, and you play a card and you do that action, and you're trying to defeat your other people that you're playing. So super, super easy. Anyone that we've taught it to has liked it and picked it up really quick. It's another one our kids love as well.
Yeah.
So Dungeon Mayhem.
We have not played that. That's
We'll
something
have to
we
pick
should
it up.
put it on our radar.
It's out there on the raffle. You can try to win it.
Oh,
right.
okay.
You shouldn't, because I put my money in for it, but you could.
Number 4 is Skull. We really like Skull. It's a bidding, push your luck game. Everybody starts, it component-wise, very cheap. You have 1 square mat, and then you have 4 round coasters. On your 4 round coasters, 3 of them are flowers, but 1 is a skull. At the start, everybody puts 1 coaster down, and then everybody can either put another coaster down or start the bid. And when you start the bid, that's how many coasters you can flip without hitting a skull. If you are the one that's left with the bid, you have to go through all of yours first, and then you can start picking who you take. If you're able to hit all of the flowers that you bid, you can. You could flip your square mat over. If you flip your square mat over twice, you win. However, if you hit a skull, you lose 1 of your coasters. If you lose all of your coasters, you're out of the game. This plays really well. It's got that push your luck and that social element, looking at people, especially when you're about to try and pick their coaster. Because you have the chaos people that always want to put a skull down. It's also fun to leave them with the bid and make them pick their own skull, because that's pretty fun. But our number 4 is Skull. Andrea, what is our number 3?
Our number 3 is Illusion, another small card deck game. You're putting down cards, and they have colors on them, and you're trying to put them down in a sequence when you have to guess, does this one have more of a particular color than the card before? And it's they're geometric shapes, and it's harder than you would think to just try and figure out which of these cards has more yellow on it, because they're in the different organization of the shape. It's an illusion, and you can't hardly tell. I played this with Rick's parents. His dad loved this game. His mom liked it too because it was simple, and she said that 3 or 4 times. I love it because it's simple. Does this have more yellow on the other one? Yes, it does, or no, it doesn't. But it's harder than you think, and it's really fun to be like, oh, are you sure? I don't think so. So it's really cute.
It's not the best for people that are colorblind, because it's red, green, yellow, blue, but you flip over an arrow and it tells you that's the color that needs to progressively get more in the deck. And when it's your turn, you either put another card in that tableau or you say it's wrong. And then if you say it's wrong, it depends. If all the cards are correct, that arrow goes to the previous player. However, if you were correct that it was wrong, you get the arrow. First 1 to 3 arrows wins. This is designed by Wolfgang Warsch, who does Quacks of Quedlinburg, and he does Ganz Clever. We really like
Quacks.
Yeah, we love Wolfgang Warsch.
I haven't played that game. I'll have to check that out. Sounds really fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like right up our game.
I think we might have it in the bag. We might have to play it after we record because it goes real quick.
That's a deal.
So that was our number 3. Jess, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Draftasaurus. So we really like Draftasaurus. It is everybody gets a player mat, and you have your own zoo, and you're pulling dinosaur meeples out of a bag, and everybody grabs 6, and then somebody will roll the die, and the die will tell the table where they have to place that dinosaur. And the dinosaurs are all different colors, and they're all different dinosaurs too. So it appeals to our younger kids who are like, ooh, that's a stegosaurus. And when you have young kids, you know all the dinosaurs for some reason. But you'll place your dinosaurs into the bag, and then the draft part, you'll pass your whole hand of dinosaur meeples to the next person.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll get rid of all 6, and then you'll do that again for another 6, and then it's just scoring up at the end. So super easy setup. That one's been a really big hit with really anyone, and it's got a summer side of the board and a winter side of the board, so you can play either one, and then you can also do kind of a battle royale where you play summer and then you play winter and add the scores together. So if you kind of struggled a little on summer, make up for it in winter, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just saw that they have some expansions for it, which I didn't. I like a aerial show and a marine one too, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'll see you. But yeah, Draftasaurus.
Number 2.
Number 2. This one, I fudged it just a little, and I hope you'll forgive me, but my number 2 is Seven Wonders Architects.
Okay.
That one, the setup, because of the way they have made the boxes, I don't know if you guys have played it, but the individual boxes where everything's just sitting in there and you just quick dump it out, shuffle it up, and go. So it's just a great part of the Seven Wonders family. It's easier and quicker than the other ones even. The Seven Wonders I don't think is complicated, but if people aren't as familiar with gaming, it seems to be
It's a next step. It's not quite a gateway.
It is. It's not a gateway drug. It's definitely a next step. But Seven Wonders Architects, I do feel like is a gateway.
Yeah.
I think it's a gateway for most of my family. I still think there's a couple that would struggle.
Yeah.
But it's also a game when we played at Cards and Stripes. We went to one of their teach nights. It was a game. I was like, I don't know if you need another Seven Wonders. Like, okay,
No,
this,
it's different
this
enough.
feels different enough, and
Yeah.
I think it fills a different spot.
I think
Yeah.
it does too, because Seven Wonders Duel, amazing 2-player game. It's one of our favorites. And then Seven Wonders is great because it incorporates the bigger player count. Because we've got family members that are really, so the higher player counts are crucial for us.
Yes.
And then this one, it's accessible, like our parents enjoy it too. So wanting the more simplistic game style. And 30 minutes is probably a little cuspy, depending on how many you've got and how quick they're getting it, but that's definitely our number 2. We enjoy that one a lot.
Nice.
Well, and the few people that I know that don't like Seven Wonders, it's generally because they don't care for the closed draft. And Seven Wonders Architects is open.
Yep.
You can take from the right or the left that both of you can see, or you can take from the middle.
Or if you have the cat, you know what the middle is.
Yeah.
We all fight over the kitty.
Yes.
That brings us to our number 2 is Sushi Go.
It's a solid game.
Sushi
choice.
Go I gave to my sister about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was the Japanese version. We played through that, loved that. So when Game Right came out with their little tin, I bought that. And then we ended up getting Sushi Go Party just a couple years ago because I was like, do I need it? And we played,
It's
8
different
players?
enough. Yeah, I think it's different enough too with the different recipe restaurant style where you can add it in, because we had played that too the other day, and I hadn't played the Sushi Go Party. We just have Sushi Go. But yeah, that's a solid pick too. We really like that one.
Which brings us to our number 1. Andrea, what's our number 1?
Point salad.
It's definitely on my list too.
We have used point salad countless times as filler game at game night, introductory game for friends and family, or just a quick little, this is on top, let's play this real quick before we start the next game.
Or the family members at Christmas time
Yes.
that are starting to get into their political arguments. Like, here, play this.
You know what's really fun? Vegetables.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do I do here? It keeps their focus
It
just
does.
enough.
It does.
Like, what you want are to grab vegetables for points. Those are points, those are vegetables.
And not
Combine
talk
them.
about politics
Right.
anymore.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you can keep something in their hands and keep them
Yes.
busy,
Right.
Oh, point
So
salad's
we
been a hit with us too.
we try and always keep it in the game bag when we head out.
we generally do. Actually, any of these top 3 or 4, one of those are generally in our game bag every time we go out.
Us too.
That leads us to your guys' number 1.
Our number 1 is Mystic Market. So Mystic Market is a really cute, easy setup game. Just a couple of shuffles, toss a little bit of money at people. It takes up a little more space than some of the other ones. It's not just a simple deck of cards, but it has a ramp in it that has 5 different colors of potion bottles, and then they've even got like little glitter in them, so it's actually neat visually. And you're basically just trying to buy and sell and craft different potions, and some of the cards that you play will change the value, and so you'll pick them up and they'll roll down and you'll sit it down there. So it's got that tactile component too that's always fun to play with in games. But that's another one we'll just grab if we're looking for like a quick little pick-me-up before or after dinner game. is.
Haven't played that one.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It sounds
I'll have to
good.
swing it by. We really enjoy it. I think you guys would like it.
Well, that was
We'll
the
swap
7 and the
games.
417 Gamers. Jess, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. It's been a blast.
So on top of being a gamer, you have a shop. You guys do Geek Ethos.
We do.
What is Geek Ethos?
Geek Ethos is our tagline is custom cosplay and geekery. So we do help people with their costumes. We're really big on make it your own. It's great to go buy a store-bought costume. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you want to mash things up, or you aren't finding the right size that you need, or you want to gender bend it. That's fun too. A group of us did Disney battle princesses. So we made armor, like I was Belle and I was Battle Belle, and then we would have Ariel, and we probably had 6 or 7 of us that just had made our own Disney princess costumes, but we made suits of armor out of it.
It's great.
So obviously you're not going to find that at the store, but just being able to, and I make them for different people, so just being able to help people create the vision in their heads is something that we enjoy too. And we do a lot of the geeky stuff too, like we've got dice towers and dice rollers that we make by hand. I always joke like I make them out of foam and Pringles cans because me personally, because we do play D&D, it's if you get the 3D printed ones, they look awesome, but they are so loud, like you're just so clingy, and the EVA foam ones are light and they're very quiet, which is really nice too.
And sometimes the plastic in there, they just don't roll well.
They don't.
They just kind of slide to shelf to shelf.
Yeah. So we do some of that, and then we kind of make it a family affair. I've drugged my mother into doing this with us, and she does a lot of stuff with vinyl. We've got some tea towels and some tote bags, and she's made candles and keychains, and we've just got a bunch of random stuff that we're just kind of like, we're interested in this, and we try to take feedback of what other people are wanting. We're trying to be a good spot for people to get gifts and just to those handmade goods to surprise their people.
And doormats.
Oh, the doormats. We made you a doormat.
Yeah,
You did. Yeah, we
sure did.
Yeah. So we made some
It's got
doormats.
McGonagall's wand in the middle. It's got Alamora on the front, open, and what's closed? Starts with a C. I don't know. My Potter.
Something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Now that you say that, I feel like our
I went
we're
blank on the-
terrible Harry Potter people right now.
I can open all the doors. I ain't closing them.
No, exactly. You close it. I love that you picked McGonagall's wand. She's my favorite, so I was excited that you wanted that one.
We wanted a nice one. We didn't want to go super.
Because Harry's is basic.
Yeah.
And the Elder Wand's a little overdone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of pompous of you to be like, I have the Elder Wand in
And
my
it's got some
house.
bad juju attached to it.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great. I think you picked a solid one.
Yeah.
On top of that, actually, we'll leave that for the next episode when your wife comes on. We'll talk about your other thing you guys got going.
Yeah, that's a deal. That's a deal.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
See you guys later. The 417 Gamer Podcast is recorded and produced by Rick Bagwell and Andrea Smith. Our intro music, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and our outro, Making Up for Lost Time, was made by Origami Replica. Our show notes are on the Facebook page at facebook.com/Hobby Gaming Network. We would like to thank Jess from Geek Ethos for coming on the show. Links to her page and everything else will be on our Facebook page, as well as if you're listening to this on the YouTube or the Instagrams, you can follow us there. Keep gaming in the 417.
It's time for me to reveal I'm the seer.
Okay.
You're dead if you don't get
Did
the
you just kill me? No, I'm the seer.
I tried to find out if you were a werewolf.
Yeah.
Dead people don't talk.
We're not a werewolf. I'm not. I'm a villain.
You're dead.
So there are only 5 people left. I know that I am the seer, and I know Rick is not a werewolf.
That is what a werewolf would say.
You're dead.
Don't talk.
The dead don't talk.
Dead men tell no tales.
That is what a werewolf
So
would
that
say.
means that these
yes, I agree.
3
These
is
are now
werewolf and chupacabra.
If we haven't eliminated them.
I'll say
Yeah.
that's a really good defense if both of you are werewolves.
Yes, that's solid.
Well,
Mr. Chupacabra.
Mr. Chimichanga.
Thank you, Andrea.
I'll second.
Oh, that's the werewolf right there! Right there!
That's a really good defense
Yeah,
if both of
very
you are
clever.
werewolves. That's really
Yeah,
convincing.
no, because I just said, you werewolf. You're like, oh, kill her. 'Cause she knows. She knows.
We found her out. She's
The
getting
first
riled.
person to claim to be the seer.
Yeah, because I finally figured it out,
She's
and I'm
been
like,
found out.
ah.
All right, she's upset.
Your defense. Do you want to say anything else?
Oh,
If I was still
The
alive,
fact-
I'd vote with you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Why people don't talk?
Right.
Yeah, people don't know.
Okay.
That is a noisy graveyard over there.
So basically, it's just you and me, Rick, because monster.
Okay.
Which means
All
you're
right,
outvoted,
voting to
unfortunately.
Lynch
Yeah.
and Andrea on suspicion of being a
Yeah,
werewolf.
you're
Monster.
Yep, they won. They won.
Sorry, Andrea, you're dead.
I knew I could.
Who all is dead?
But
Everybody
there's
but
such a
you.
Everybody, you're the only villager.
Yeah, there's still 4 of you.
There's 4 left.
Yeah, you're the only villager.
Everybody
So
but you.
You're about to die, Rick.
Everybody go to sleep.
you need run, baby.
Wait, do the dead people have to go sleep?
No.
Yeah.
But you have to be
Talk
quiet.
right
That's
there.
right, I'm dead. I don't have to close my eyes.
Be quiet. All right. Chupacabra. Did I say it right that time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wake up. Look at somebody. Okay. Go to sleep. Seer, wake up. Point at somebody. If you have found a werewolf, I will give you a thumbs up. Thumbs down if you have not. Thank you. Go to sleep. Werewolves, wake up. Choose someone you want to eat. Thank you. Go to sleep. Everybody wake up. Rick, you are dead. And the werewolves have won.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was possible if you chose to kill the hunter,
Yeah.
then
could've
you
taken out.
possibly would have
Wait,
lost.
wait, where was the, who was the hunter?
The one who didn't die. The one werewolf that didn't die.
It was Chupacabra. Chupacabra